Hey guys, and welcome to my first Kandi tutorial video. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to make a pair of Kandi goggles just like these ones here. So, what we're going to start off first is with making one of these lenses. I've already made one and I used orange beads. You can use any colour you want. Now, the supplies you're going to need are string. I prefer to use crystal tack because I have sensory issues, but a lot of people recommend fabric covered elastic string. And you're also going to need some beads. I'm probably going to be making mine orange and pink. To start off with, you're going to want to cut a length of string. I usually like to measure from each side of my arm, which is your wingspan, and that's usually about the length you need to start with. You can always tie on more string if you run out during the project as well. Now, for this first bit, it's just like creating a basic single, and what you're going to want to do is add on 30 beads of your base color. This can be any color, mine is just going to be orange. So, I'm just going to add 30 of these onto one end of the string. If you've never made a Kandi single before, all you have to do is put the beads on the string and hold the other end so they don't fall off. Now, once you have all 30 beads on your string, you want to take each side of the string and you're just going to tie a square knot. Now how you do this is you have your string, and this is just a knot you use to tie off pretty much every bracelet. It's just like tying the first knot in your shoelaces. So you want to take both ends of the string and cross them over, and they kind of form like a little X, and put one end of the string underneath the other and pull it tight. And we're going to do it again. Use both ends of the string, make an X, put one end of the string under the other, and pull it tight. I like to do this about just 5 times so that it doesn't break. Make sure you're not pulling it too tight that it snaps, but also not too loose that it's just going to all fall apart. This probably will be a little bit easier if you're using fabric covered elastic string. It's a lot harder with the plastic string. Now, what you're going to want to do is only cut off the short end of the string. So that's that for my one, and you're just going to take a pair of scissors and cut it off. Alright, now that you have your long end of string, I'm just going to grab the end of mine. You've got the string coming out in between the middle of these 2 beads, and you're just going to take a string and put it through one of the 2 beads. It doesn't really matter which direction you go. Alright, and here's when you can grab your other beads. It doesn't matter what color you use once again, and we're going to need 15 for this next part. What you want to do is you're going to take one bead, you're going to put it on your string and slide it all the way down to the bottom, and if it's coming out of this bead here, you want to skip the one in the middle and put it through this one here. So skip this one in the middle and put this end of the string through the next bead over, and we're going to pull it nice and tight. And you can see it kind of creates like a little point. And we're going to do it again. We're going to add a bead on, and we're going to slide it all the way down, skip this middle bead, and go through the next bead, like so. And again, we're going to add a bead, slide it all the way down, skip this middle bead, and go through the next one, like so. And you're going to do this all the way around until you reach here. Alright, and now that we are up to the last one, you're still going to add on your bead. And we're still going to skip the bead, and we're going to go into this one right here that's right next to this pink bead. So you're going to go through the orange, and then you want to go up through the bead right above it. So it's going to be like a little bit like a diagonal bit. So right there, we're going to put it through the one up the top, so it's coming out of one of the pointy beads on our second layer of string, like that. Now I'm just going to quickly grab some different colors. I might keep going with pink actually. And we're basically going to do the exact same thing we did on this row again. So, just to recap, we're going to grab a bead, slide it all the way down to the end of the string, and go in between this middle bead here, and you're going to go through the next bead that's pointing out. So skip this orange one in the middle and go through the next pink bead. And you're going to do this all the way around. Skip the orange bead, go through the pink bead. Skip the orange bead, go through the pink bead. Right, now for the last one, we're going to do the exact same thing as the last one on the other row. Add on your bead, and you're going to skip this bead and go through these two pink beads this time. So it ends up coming out this top one, and pull it nice and tight. Alright, now you see how we have these two rows of 2, and how this one has 3 rows of 3. Basically, what we've done here is we've done 3 out of 5 rows. So we want to do this 2 more times up the end, up the top. So we want to go through and do it all the way around once more, and all the way around once again. I'm going to add a time lapse of me doing this, and I will teach you how to tie it off when we're done. And I'll show you how to step it up once again. So we add on our final bead of row 4 out of 5, and you go through this pink bead and this orange bead. So through this pink bead and this orange bead. And then we're going to add one more row, and I'll show you how to tie that off when we're done. Alright, and now I'm going to show you how to tie off this cuff. So we're adding on our last bead of row 5, and we're going to come through this orange bead and this pink bead right here. So this orange, it's a little bit fidgety, this orange bead, that orange bead, and this pink bead, like that. Now, tying a cuff off is a lot different to tying off a single, since you only have 1 string to work with instead of 2. But I'm going to show you how to do it, and you might need to slow down the video for this part, just because I'm not the greatest at explaining how to tie off things, but I'm going to try my best. You're going to take one end of the string, and you're going to put it through the little gap in between these 2 beads right here. You're going to put it in between this gap. Oops. It's very hard to do when you're trying to hold it up for the camera. And you're going to pull it, but not all the way, so you still have the loop. Now you have 2 strings to work with. So now that you have the 2 strings, you can just do a regular square knot. And you can do this a couple of times. Again, I like to do probably 3 for this one, just because they're a lot stronger, so you probably don't need to do 5. I'm going to do 4 just to be double safe, but yeah. And then when you're done, you're just going to want to trim the excess. And there you have the base of your first goggle. Now, we need to add the lining to the inside of the goggle. You see how this one has the lining on the inside? We're going to do that bit next. So the supplies you're going to need for that is more string, a pair of scissors, and more beads. So maybe cut off just a smaller amount of string this time, maybe just 1 arm's length instead of both. And I'm going to do that. Now, what I like to do with the lining is, because this is on the inside and this is like this, I like to turn my cuff inside out just so it's easier for me to work with because of my not so great hand-eye coordination. Now, we have our beads that we're going to want to do in the middle, and this bit is probably the trickiest bit, but it's quite simple to do at the same time. So what we have on this one here is, you can see the lining is coming out of these beads here, and on your cuff you see you have the top line and you have the one below that. So for me, it's these shiny kind of orange beads. So I'm going to put one end of my string through that, and it's going to come out like that. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to grab whatever beads you're using, and you're going to take 3 of the beads and put it onto the string. So I'm going to be using these orange sparkly ones, and I'm going to take 3 of them, slide them all the way down my string, and what we're going to do is we're going to skip the orange one in the middle, and we're going to come to the next one over. So skip the middle one and come to this one over. And you're going to pull it through, and it creates like this little bump. And I'm going to do that again. Grab the 3 sparkly beads, skip this middle one, and go through. Got my scissors caught on that. And go through the next one right there. Just like that. And you're going to do this all the way around. And then I'm going to show you how to tie it off. So once again, we got our 3 beads, skip the middle one, and go through the next orange one. So now, our 2 strings should kind of be next to each other. There's still going to be like a bead in the middle, but that doesn't really matter. Now, we're going to tie them off in a square knot. But before we do that, what I like to do is, to make sure the lining is nice and tight, we're going to flip them back the right way. So we're going to flip them back inside. Makes it a lot easier to tie off and keep the shape of the lining right. And now we can do the square knot. Again, I'm probably going to do this about 5 times. And you can see, as you tie it, the beads kind of come in and create this little lining bit that you can see on this one here. And I'm just going to do this about 5 times. Alright, now that we've done that, we're going to cut off the excess again. And I'm going to flip it back inside out for the last part of the lining. So we're almost done. Alright, now, this bit's a little bit more complicated. We're only going to need a couple of beads though. So, we got a couple of beads. I'm just using the last of this orange that I'm almost out of. And we're also going to need a little bit of string. Probably not as much as the last one. Now, as you can see, we have these sparkly beads. And you can see there's 3 of them. So we want to go through the one in the middle. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to add on 1 bead between each of these points. But there's 2 points that are further away from each other than the others. So for me, it's this one. And for that one, we're going to add on 2. And I'll show you when I get to that. So we add on 1 bead. And we go through the middle bead at the next point. So it's coming out of here. And we're going to put it through this bead right here. And just pull it nice and tight. And we're going to do it again. Put on the one bead and put it through the next middle bead. And now I'm up to the bit where my beads are further away from each other, so you can see there's 2 instead of the 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on 2 beads and still go through the same middle point. Just the same. Add on 1 middle bead and go through the next one. I'm just going to do this all the way around and I will show you how to tie it off. Alright, up to the last one. So we're just going to add on our last orange bead and we're going to come through the other side of the middle bead, and our strings are going to be coming out of the same bead like that. But then again, we're going to flip the cuff back the right way. Make sure my strings are coming up. Pull it all nice and tight. It should look something like this. Look at that. Perfect. And again, we're just going to tie a square knot. I like to do, like I said each time, 4 to 5 times. I prefer 5 just so I'm really sure it's not coming undone. Again, if you're using elastic covered stretch clothes, you probably won't have to tie it as much. Probably a lot more secure. Alright. And there we go. Now we can cut off the excess string. And that is your first lens done. Now to make the second one, you're going to do the exact same thing. So you can go back and rewatch that part of the video and come back to here when you're done. Alright, so now that you've made both of your goggles lenses, we're going to have to make this little bit in between, so this little X in the middle, and then we're going to make the strap that actually goes around your head. Now, for the strap that goes around your head, the size depends on how big your head is. And I would probably recommend using, I have like a little bit of scrap bit here, a more stretchy cord. I can't use it because I have sensory issues, so I use this one instead. It is still stretchy, but it's not as stretchy. Yes, so we have our 2 lenses and they're both pointing up the same way. And basically both exactly the same. Now, we're gonna get another little bit of scrap string. I'd say maybe like 1 arm's length. It probably doesn't have to be that long, but I like to exaggerate. And we're gonna take it and we're gonna line our 2 goggles up because we're gonna make the bit that joins them. So do it like that. So you can see I've lined them up. And I'm gonna take these beads here. So we're gonna put it through this bead right there. This bead right next to it, and this bead right next to it. So it should be coming out of the beads like this, and we want to make sure both of our strings are an equal length, so like you can hold them up and they'll be an equal length. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add 3 beads to each end of the string. So we're going to separate our strings. Nice if we had them the right way around. And we're going to add 3 beads to each end of the string. So what I'm going to do is, I got to count real quick. I'm going to add 1 bead to the string. So I'm going to do a pink one. And another bead to the other end of the string. So there should be 1 bead on each side. Another bead to the end of the string. You can make this a different color if you want. It doesn't really matter. I recommend using a different color just so it looks a little bit better. And then we're going to add another bead to each end of the string. Just like so. And now we have our 3 beads on each side of the string. And we're basically just ignoring this goggle for now. Then we're going to put both ends of our strings together. And we're going to add on 1 bead. So just 1 bead between both of the strings, like that. And you can see this makes the first point of our little X for the goggles. Then we're going to separate them again, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add on, 1 bead of each color onto each end of the string. So we're going to add on 1 on this side and 1 on this side, another bead of the other color to both ends of the string, and 1 more bead of the other color to both ends of the string. Now we have it like this. It's time to bring the other goggle in. So I'm just going to straighten them up so you can see what's going on. We have our little X of beads here, and we have our other goggle. And now what you want to do is separate your 2 strings. And let me see if I did it here. Yeah. You're going to take 1 end of your string, and so they line up, you're going to go through 1 of the beads and pull it up, and it should line up. And we're going to do the same with the other end of the string, but we're going to put it through, if it wants to work with me, we're going to put it through this bead right here. Which, there we go, should look like this. That. And now what you're going to want to do is put both of the strings through the bead in the middle. So 1 string through the orange bead, and you're going to put the other string through the orange bead, like that. And sometimes, like I said before, they get a little bit tangled. And so it's going to look like that. And we're just going to tie it off again in 4 to 5 square knots. 2, 3, 4, and 5. I apologize for the goggles not being in like the same spot the whole video. I am trying my best. There we go. And now we have this little bit that connects the goggles. As you can see here on my finished pair, it's here. But the bit that we're going to do next is actually a lot easier. It's just this little middle bit here. So you're going to flip over your goggles, this bead on each side. So we're just going to grab another small length of string. It really doesn't need to be much. Maybe just like a hand's like length. And you're just going 1 end of our string through this little bead right here. So it'll be this one and this one. We're going to put 1 end of our string through there. And we're going to take both of our ends of our string and line it up. Nice and sweet. Just like that. Now we're going to add on 4 beads. It doesn't matter if you do it in a pattern or not, you're just going to add on 4 beads. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I can find it. There we go. Whoop. Perfect. Now we're going to separate our strings again and do the exact same thing. 1 end is going to come out this way. And 1 end is going to come out this way. And we're going to pull them together and tie it off. So this creates a little bridge bit in between the goggles. And just tie it 4 to 5 times. Oh my gosh. Now we're so close to being done. We just have to add the strap. So you've got your goggles, which look amazing. Now you just have to add the strap, which is actually way easier than it looks. So don't get too stressed about that because it's super simple. For this, you're going to need a lot more string, so I would probably say at least your wingspan. I'm probably just going to do a little bit more. If you're using super stretchy string, unlike me, you're probably going to need less. But you're going to need quite a fair bit anyway, since you do fold in half. Alright, now that you have your string, what you're going to do here is, as you can see, how you have these 2 middle beads that the X is coming out of. On the opposite side, you also have 2 middle beads. So I'm going to spin it around like this so you can see. And what we're going to do is take one end of the string and put it through here. And take the other end of the string and put it through that bit. Like that. Oh my gosh, we're so close to the end, guys. And now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this little part of the strap. This little part of the strap first, so this little bit here, and then we're gonna make the rest of the strap. So, we're gonna start by adding 3 beads to each string. So just take 3 beads. Again, it doesn't matter what color you use for the headband. If you want it to be color coordinated, you can do it color coordinated. I'm going to make mine color coordinated, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, now that you've added 3 beads to each end of your string, you're just going to pull them down, and you're going to put both ends of your string together, and you're going to add on another bead, like that. Whoa, look at that. And now we're going to add on a heap of beads until you think it's going to fit around your head. Now, you can always take it off and like stop to measure it, which is usually what I do. So I'm just going to add on a bunch of beads. I'm probably going to try about 50 of them and see how that goes. There doesn't really have to be any particular pattern for this. If you want to make a pattern for the head strap, you can, but I prefer to just do it without a pattern, just in case I run out of like one color of the beads. But yeah, I think I'm going to try about 50 beads. Obviously, it does vary depending on the size of your head and all of that. Now that I have finished the length of my headband, what I'm going to do is once you finish the length of your headband, you're going to grab the ends and separate them again, and you're going to put 3 beads on each side once again. Do mine in orange on this side because I did pink on the other side. 1, 2, 3, and slide these all the way down to the bottom. And right where you connected them on this side, you're going to do the same on this side. So separate your 2 strings again, and it's going to be right here. So thread one end of the string through that bead, other end of the string through the bead that's pointing out, and just like we did on other parts of this, you need to thread them both through the orange bead. So one end of the string going that way. Boop. And we take the other end of the string and make it go that way. There we go. And now, I'm just gonna tie it off. Just like this. Again, 4 to 5 times. One more. Cut off all the excess. And congratulations, you have made your first pair of Kandi goggles. Please leave a comment down below and drop a like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. I will be selling these goggles on my Depop, so if you're interested, they will be available and the link will be in my channel bio. I do only ship to Australia due to international shipping costs, but if you'd like to support me, it helps me afford more beads to keep doing what I'm doing. And doing what I'm doing helps me really reduce my anxiety. And thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, please let me know what tutorials you would like next. I hope this helped out at least a little bit. And go watch some of my other videos. Thank you. Bye.